Their voice was the only one you heard. They had total control, didn't they? If you've been following this series, you know I've dedicated 2 full episodes to isolation and how the narcissist separates you from family, friends, and even yourself, and how healing begins when you start to reconnect. But what if you've already left the narcissist and isolation is still there? What if silence has become your comfort zone, your shield, even after your freedom? To help crystallize this brutal narcissistic tool, I'm going to refer to Annie. If you're new here, Annie's story is fictional, but it's drawn from real lived experiences. She's not a psychology case study. She's just a woman who found herself fighting to reclaim her life after narcissistic abuse. And maybe, like so many others, you'll hear just a little bit of your own story and Annie's. Have you ever felt like silence is your safe place? After Annie left her marriage, it was just her and her daughter. She had her coursework, her child, in her own quiet corner of the world, and that's exactly how she wanted it. She didn't go back to her family, even though they lived nearby. They had turned against her when she left her husband, the first woman in their large conservative family to do that. I imagine she could have tried to repair the relationship, but it didn't seem like a safe option for her because that silence, that distance started to feel like protection. And in some ways, I guess you could say it was. She had peace, she had space, and after years of emotional chaos, those things felt pretty sacred. But here's the part Annie didn't realize, at least not at first. That same silence that protected her was also cutting her off from the very things that help us heal. Connection, along with validation and belonging. That's how isolation works. Sometimes it's imposed on us, and sometimes we impose it on ourselves long after the danger has passed. I guess you can say that it's a programming that just stays with you. Even when the narcissist is gone, their voice isn't gone, not right away. You've probably heard that voice too. You're too much. Nobody wants to hear about this. You're the problem. And eventually, that voice starts sounding like your own. So what do? You stay quiet. You avoid people. Not because you want to, because some part of you still believes that being alone is safer than being misunderstood, rejected, or dismissed again. And you know what? It makes perfect sense. I want you to know it's not a weakness, it's self-protection. But here's the thing, Annie began to learn, and what I hope you do too. What protected you then might not be what's keeping you stuck now. So let me ask you the question, is your isolation protecting you? And if so, from what? Is it the fear of being judged? The fear of being abandoned? The fear that no one's going to understand? If so, I get it. Those fears are valid. They come from lived experiences, but they don't have to define what happens next in your life. You don't have to tear all the walls down overnight, but maybe, just maybe, you can open a window, let a little air in, let a little light in, let a safe voice in, let tiny shifts in your life break the silence. Here are a few gentle ways to begin. Record a voice memo, not to send, just to practice saying what's true out loud. Write a letter, but don't send it. Let your voice have a place to land. Join a quiet online support group, one where you can listen before you ever have to speak. Reach out to just one person who's always felt safe for you. Maybe it's just a text, maybe it's just a meme, but it's a thread, and threads build bridges. Healing doesn't want you to rush, it just asks you to reach. You've got to realize that you are not broken. You're brave. And if you're still isolating after narcissistic abuse, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you found a way to survive. But now it's time to live. Just like Annie eventually found her way back to connection, slowly, carefully, and in her own way, I bet you can too. It starts with this truth. You are not the narcissist's voice. You are not the person that they told you you were. And you are not alone. If this episode stirred something in you, hold on to it gently. Take your time, and when you're ready, let somebody in, even if it's just a whisper, a thank you for being here today. And if you know someone who might need to hear this, I hope you'll share it. Please be kind to yourself and know that you don't have to do this alone. If this is your first time with me, let me introduce myself. I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney and author of Undercurrent. Undercurrent is Annie's story. Annie just isn't one person. Annie is anyone who's ever experienced narcissistic abuse. And Are You Annie is a safe space to hear you, validate you, and to walk this healing journey with you. You're not alone here. I want you to remember that you are stronger than you think. I want you to be tenacious and never give up on what's important to you. Thank you so much for staying on this journey with me, and I will see you next time.